Welcome back, NoDQ Galaxy, to a brand new edition of the NoDQ Review number 267. Back on Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, live, our regular spot. I am Virtue, the moderator, being joined by this week's elite panel of the NoDQ Review. Of course, Aaron Rift. Big G is back in the house and happy to be here. The number one Jeff Jarrett fan in the world. Of course, TJS is here, and Rhonda Shane coming right back. Second show in a row. Gentlemen, what's going on? Rhonda's like, don't come to me first for a topic today. Let me digest and hear what the others have to say first, but I'll go to you first to say what's up. How's it going?
I'm doing fantastic today. Just hanging out with my cat, Nermal, today, and ready to talk about a little bit of wrestling.
It'll be fun. And, 5 people on the panel. I'm sure we'll go an hour, a little bit longer, but the sweet spot to me is like 50, 55 minutes. Come on, NoDQ Galaxy. We can do it tonight. So, Rhonda, stay tuned. I'll be back to you. Big G, what's up? Steelers are in the playoffs.
I'm doing pretty good. It's been a while since I've been on. Had a good New Year's, had a good Christmas. Still, like you see, Steelers are in the playoffs. The Titans did their thing, but, we're here to talk about wrestling. A lot has happened in the wrestling business in the past couple of weeks. I mean, you guys did an impromptu review on Tuesday because of The Rock returning, but here we are back on Sunday night at 8 o'clock, and I am on time. Let's get this ball rolling, baby.
Stay tuned, Big G. I'll be back to you shortly. All right, TJS. Tyler Joseph Smith, what's up?
Hey, glad to be back. I was able to secure the new Prime flavor. I got cred, bitches. Also, I've got Resident Evil 4 remastered on the way. Should be here on Tuesday. It's going to be fun. Wrestling is really hot right now. WWE is really hot right now. Royal Rumble's coming up. I'm excited to talk about this. Let's go, guys.
And I see Tito in the chat wanting everybody to super chat us hard tonight, whatever that means. And, of course, anybody else who's in the chat that drops in, like Colin and Cleveland, or any of the moderators, kudos to you. Thank you, because I'm sure that troll will be in here trying to snipe me. But every time they get had. Aaron, what's going on?
That guy's already got his 10 accounts ready to go tonight, but we got the moderators ready. I wanted to wish Matt Helms a very happy 53rd birthday. Happy birthday, Matt. It's great to have Rhonda back by popular demand. You guys wanted him back. He's back with us tonight. He's got his cat. We got Big G back. We know Big G is a huge cat person. Maybe we'll get a cameo from Harley or Joker on this video. He might have to go find them, but if he does, we'll get that cameo. It's sorry, Big G. I hate to do this because it was one of my many New Year's resolutions. I said I would not troll you with Jeff Jarrett in 2024, but Rhonda has never seen this before. Rhonda, I have to show you this. Rhonda, take a look at this. Do you recognize that man in that circle in the crowd?
In awe, an absolute starstruck awe.
That was Jeff Jarrett's debut. Big G was in attendance, and we have been trolling him for like a year and a half now.
A year and a half now.
That's how we were on the NoDQ review. Now that that's out, I will not show that picture again. I will stick to my resolution for the rest of the year. Sorry, Big G. My apologies.
Okay.
We do have a super chat already, so this is like a little impromptu one real quick. Dave Scheffler sent in a $5 super chat. He says, I like Nick Aldis in his role. What do you think? I like him. I enjoy Nick Aldis, and I hope we'll get to see him wrestle at some point. I don't know how he's doing physically, but I would love to see him mix it up at some point. But as for now, I think he's doing great. Rhonda, what do you think about Nick Aldis as GM?
I think it's great to see him finally on national TV. He's been such a top tier talent for so long and working for such a third, fourth tier company with Billy Corgan. So it's nice to see him actually succeeding. Love to see him succeed while also wrestling, but I have a feeling they know where they're going with this, and it's an effective introduction for him to come into the top level without having to justify why a guy nobody's ever heard of walks into the main event scene.
All right, Big G, any thoughts on Nick Aldis as GM so far?
I mean, I think he's doing good so far. I'm glad he's sticking it to Roman Reigns.
Oh, well, we'll get to that in a few minutes. We're going to talk about Nick Aldis and Roman Reigns for sure. TJS, scale of 1 to 10, how are you liking Nick Aldis?
And it's very refreshing. He has some balls, and I like GMs with balls. So I give it like an 8. I think it's good. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Roman versus, not for the title, but Roman versus Nick Aldis by the end of the year would be cool.
Ooh, yeah, there you go. Virtue, would you like to see Nick Aldis versus Roman Reigns?
I like this Nick Aldis because it's like James Bond has retired and he's now in control of MI6. And yeah, he's pretty dapper. So I give it a 9 out of 10. I really like him.
All right, there you go. Some praise from Virtue. And Mr. Tito sent in a $2 super chat. Guys, Velveteen Dream apologized. I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, have seen that video or read the transcript. Velveteen Dream apologized to WWE and Triple H. Now, the question is, do we think that it was sincere? I'll go first. I think he was sincere, but at the same time, it came off to me like a guy that wants his job back and wants to get back into wrestling. Will it happen? Like, does he deserve a second chance? I mean, I certainly think that if Mike Tyson can come back and have redemption, then Velveteen Dream can have redemption. Virtue, what are your thoughts?
Exactly. I don't even really need to say anything. You are innocent in this country until proven guilty. That's all I'm going to say.
Rhonda, anything you want to say? I know it's a touchy subject, and you got to be careful what you say here. And any thoughts on it?
I'm going to try not to put my foot in my mouth or anything like that. But no, I think that honestly, the only people that he didn't apologize to were the people that were allegedly the victims of his alleged incidents. So I think that speaks some volumes. But you know, as far as his apologies to everyone in the wrestling business and everybody that invested time into him, I mean, it was a great apology. Seems like he's matured a lot. I wonder why he didn't make any apologies to any of the people that he apparently had wronged, but that's a decision he made.
I think he has to go out on the indie scene and try to reestablish himself and build up his reputation before WWE should even consider giving him another shot. I think he's got to go and grind on the indies for a while and make a name for himself. TJS, any thoughts on this?
Well, if you are innocent, then you wouldn't apologize to any alleged victims because they lied. So I agree with Virtue.
Good point.
Yeah, innocent until proven guilty. Personally, I think he never should have been fired. I think unless you're prosecuted for the crime, you shouldn't be doing the time. But it's Royal Rumble season, so I'm sure Velveteen is making that Hail Mary, trying to get into Triple H's good graces. So we'll see what happens. But I agree with you, Aaron. He'll probably need to have like a year or so of good behavior on the indies, kind of like Riddle, which we'll get to.
TJS, thank you for that. Big G, do you think we'll see Velveteen Dream back in WWE like in the next year or so?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't know. You guys all made good points. There's not really much for me to say, but if he does come back, it'll be, I don't want to say within the next year, but maybe within the next couple years. So,
all right, fair enough. Colin Andrews sent in a $2 super chat. He says, "Cheers. Sorry I got stuck at work tonight for the panel. We miss you, Colin. We hope to have you back soon. It's been a long time since we've had you on. It feels like we only get you on every couple months, but we will get you on again at some point." And on that note, Virtue, we can get into the official topics now for the NoDQ review. That was our little warm up. Let's get the ball rolling.
Worry, Rhonda, I won't come to you first, but when it is your turn, you better be cooking. I saw some posts from the last. Yeah, you got at least one time tonight on one of these topics. You got to cook. That's going to be what I expect from you. All right, first topic. So I totally forgot. We just got off of Wrestle Kingdom season, and I think it's a lot to do with WWE now is big. Punk is back. Roman, the Bloodline. Orton came back, and then we use AEW as that next. What else do we talk about other than WWE? And you know, there's those diehard New Japan fans, and I'll tell you what, I couldn't tell you what any of the matches were. I know Bryan Danielson wrestled there, but what I do remember from the headlines from Wrestle Kingdom is in that weekend, because I know they do a show after that called New Year's Dash. We saw Nick Nemeth and his brother showed up dressed pretty nice, suits, nice shirts. And then Riddle did something on a video or online or at New Year's Dash and called out Tanahashi, who I guess, I don't know if it's kayfabe or legit, but he's the acting president now of New Japan.
Legit.
And these guys are all looking dapper. I'm not saying they're all related, like they're going to come in as a faction from the West, but I'm telling you, it's always worked for New Japan. That's why they always bring guys in that are from over here. And we got Riddler and the Nemeth brothers. And I'm telling you, maybe this might be the Riddle I always wanted to see in WWE that they never did. And we'll have to see how it plays out. Granted, to him, it's all about the strong style, going in there and having a worked wrestling match, but kind of beating the crap out of your opponent, because that's what, strong style in New Japan is. Riddle will fit right in there. And, of course, Ziggler is awesome. I'm still going to always call him Ziggler. Dude, he is awesome. TJS, I'll come to you first here. My gut feeling says we've always had like Bullet Club. Don't be the Bullet Club, but put these guys together, all of them. Put Nick and Ryan and Matt Riddle all together. Maybe even bring in somebody else. I know the suit and tie, like Main Event Mafia was in TNA. I'm digging it. That draws my attention to at least kind of see what's going on over there. What do you have to say?
Yeah, I agree with you. A few years ago, I used to stay up and watch Wrestle Kingdom, but I have a job and not really time for that anymore. Got to get up early, and it, quite frankly, it just hasn't interested me enough to make that commitment. So yeah, I do agree. Some more, I guess you could call them mainstream stars over there will definitely pique my interest. And I'm also going to call him Ziggler. I'm interested to see what he does over there along with Riddle. I believe Riddle said he's going to be changing up his character. Is that right? I think I read that on NoDQ. He's going to stop being Patrick from SpongeBob, and now he's going to be, the certified badass, which, like you said, Virtue.
I had the shirt and the tie on, dude. I'm telling you, we've been calling for it.
Maybe you could change who he is too. But
wait, what?
So maybe you could change who he is too.
Well, yeah, I mean,
do you know him personally though to make those claims? No.
Oh no. I just watch. I see what I see on the interwebs.
He's like you said, Virtue, the strong style. I think this is a good fit for him. I'd rather see him here than in TNA. Let's be honest. Same with Ziggler.
Yeah, I mean, New Japan's a place, obviously you're, to those diehard New Japan fans, but at least they've done that for years. I mean, Hogan went over there, Brock Lesnar, they all go over, New Japan always pulls in those Westerners for those big events, and it's never going to change. And the fact that Riddle called out Tanahashi, he's getting a big rub already. So, Big G, yes. Any thoughts here? Isn't your boy Riddle going to be at one of your shows coming up soon that you do?
Yeah, so Riddle and Nemeth are going to be at the MCW Fan Jam come February. But yeah, Nemeth showing up at New Japan, that was pretty cool. This might be good for him because of his comedy schedule, and we talked about this yesterday over on Jeff's show too for a bit. He's got his comedy schedule. It's a lighter schedule in No Japan. He could do like a 2 to 3 week tour over there, do his thing, come back to the States, do his comedy shows, go back. Eventually, his brother Ryan is still in AEW. Can we possibly see Nick going over to AEW? And it's a big possibility that
Forbidden Door.
There you go, Forbidden Door. And then as far as Riddle, I saw the promo with him and Tanahashi. I caught some of the highlights with him versus Jacob Fatu yesterday at MLW, and that looks like a different Riddle than he was in WWE. And I think he has the potential to be that certified badass that we all wanted to see him in WWE, and not the copycat RVD stoner, like you said, Patrick wannabe. So it'll be good for Riddle. And I think Riddle can eventually go to AEW as well later down the road, but let them do their stint in New Japan for a while.
And as far as like the characters of these people in real life and what we hear and how certain people want to judge them, for years, Shawn Michaels, idolized. Telling me that guy doesn't have a checkered past personally.
Right.
Ric Flair, but they're all idolized. I'm not saying Riddle's at that level in wrestling, but is it because he's not? We have to hate, like, not give a guy a second chance. He's a dick. He's a sexual predator. That, you know what I mean? Like,
everybody has a checkered past. Like you mentioned, Shawn Michaels.
I want people to have redemption, and then if you blow that and you're just
look at Hulk Hogan,
then who cares about you? Like Del Rio, and you're gone forever. Nobody cares about you anymore.
Oh, and Del Rio,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and then Del Rio. Speaking of Del Rio, he's supposed to be that
cancel warrior here. That's like I said, I think he just has some growing. I think he has a lot of growing up to do, but he's made some immature mistakes. I think he's starting to own it. He did his own little apology out there. Well, not an apology, but it was talking about how he left WWE, and I think it's a wake up call.
Now, are you ready to cook on this? You have anything to say about this group in New Japan? Granted, with these guys being in New Japan and the relationship with AEW, Forbidden Door, like, it opens them up to be in AEW. I mean, I know Ryan Nemeth already is, but you almost know it's going to happen because of the working relationship they have. So, any thoughts, not on Riddle personally, but just those guys showing up in New Japan, dressing dapper, being from the West, typical what New Japan does every year. When some guys leave, they bring in new ones. Go ahead, Rhonda.
All right, let's cook. I think, listen, as far as them coming to NJPW, I think the interesting part of the story is that they opted to go to NJPW first and not enter straight into AEW. I wonder what that's all about. I wonder why they feel the need to go. Is it just because it's the first major event on their after their 90 days, or is it that they see that maybe going to Japan, partially maybe it's a little dream come true? But I've been to Japan. I've been to the Tokyo Dome. About 5 years ago, I flew over there. It's not what Meltzer says. It's not as good as it used to be. There isn't 60K people. It's 22, 23, 25K people. It's not, up until about 2 years ago, it was on TV at 3 a.m. It only started being on television in prime time again within the last 2-3 years, I think it is. NJPW has been hit in a rut, and it's interesting with the relationship between AEW and NJPW that they managed to secure these two talents first. I wonder what the conversation between Tony, or Antonio Kanoki, as he likes to seem to style himself with his little red scarf, and Tanahashi was about this, because every English-speaking NJPW star that has gone to AEW for a Forbidden Door event has ended up signed and not working with NJPW anymore, or having some kind of a sharing arrangement. And if you look back to the way the whole thing started, because I was at the Tokyo Dome the day that they announced AEW, and Cody, the Bucks, Jericho, Omega, all of them, that was their last time in NJPW. Yes, they've come back for a Wrestle Kingdom here or there. They lost them. That's how it started. And don't forget, they screwed them at that ROH NJPW show as well. And the relationship has been extraordinarily one-sided ever since. Although it should be, considering that New Japan has 150,000 viewers worldwide. And nobody seems to remember that when talking about New Japan as an entity, that they have about 2,000 people in attendance to every show on average, except for Wrestle Kingdom. And they're on, up until recently, we're on at 2 a.m. and have 150,000 viewers worldwide. Maybe they need a favor, but it's an interesting choice for both of those two to go to NJPW first.
Well, and sometimes the wrestlers, if they get paid and then they go over there and it's like, oh, we're going to get the Meltzer matches on our resume. Yeah, that's they're going over there to get paid. Granted, I don't know for what, but then they're looking at their long-term investment in themselves. Well, if I go over there and have some 5-star Meltzer matches, and I hate saying this, I'm going to come right back over, and then Tony Khan's going to pay me. But yeah,
No, but
New
you're right.
Japan, the N in New Japan Pro Wrestling stands for niche.
And no, you're right, Bill, about the impressing Tony Khan, because he's the main. If you need, the only person you're really impressing with a Meltzer match and going to Japan these days is Tony Khan.
Yeah. So maybe that's good on their end to do that, to get money from him, but we'll see. Aaron, any super chats? Anything you want to add to this?
I do think it's a good move for both guys. I think that with Riddle, it's not surprising at all. I was not expecting him to show up in AEW right away. He's another guy that I think needs to go off and do his own thing for a while and try and rebuild his reputation before Tony Khan considers signing him. As far as Dolph Ziggler goes, I think it makes sense because AEW has a very crowded roster right now, and even somebody as talented as Dolph Ziggler is going to have a difficult time breaking out of the pack and really being able to make a long-term difference. He might show up and people will be talking about him for a week, but then what? I think with New Japan, he can go out there and do his own schedule, do some dates there, do some dates in other places, travel around the world and just have fun. And he might end up in AEW one day. And I think New Japan could definitely use both of those guys. I think that with people like Will Ospreay going to AEW, and yes, he'll still be doing some occasional Japan shows. I think it's good for them to pick up a few American wrestlers for their brand. It'll just help keep some eyeballs on New Japan. Like Ron said, not a ton of people watching New Japan, so it's always good for them to pick up a couple of significant American stars to build up their viewership a little bit. So I think both moves were the right moves for now, and maybe down the line, if Riddle stays out of trouble, he'll end up in AEW or maybe even back in WWE. I think it's a shame that his character is only changing now. Like you guys mentioned, he should have been that badass character. They should have dropped the whole comedy thing a long time ago. And now we'll get to see the Riddle that people wanted to see in WWE. TJS, you got your finger up. I know Big G, you did too. Who wants to go first on that?
Go ahead, TJS. You were first.
Okay. Yeah, real quick. I'm so glad that you guys brought this up about New Japan being niche, because when I went to Japan in 2017, I was all over that country, and everyone that I asked about wrestling, they thought I was talking about sumo wrestling.
Me too.
Yeah. So
Interesting.
Yeah, I was able to go to the Tokyo Dome, but the only thing that was going on was a baseball game. So I did attend that just because I wanted to go to that venue. But yeah, not a whole lot of NJPW talk.
So are you telling me that New Japan is not like Nintendo in Japan? That's what my thought was as an American. I'm like, Japanese wrestling must be massive. Like, you're saying that's not the case?
It's the image that Dave Meltzer is trying to paint.
No, and also Riddle did say konnichiwa in his promo, which, I mean, I did that when I was in Japan because I made a lot of speeches over there and I used that. But looking back, I think that's probably cringe. I don't think they want, I don't know. But yeah, it's like Virtue said, it's niche. And Aaron, I think you would be surprised because I didn't see any like billboards or anything for NJPW.
No,
like I was all over.
Only at the convenience store, I saw because I was there just before Wrestle Kingdom, and I saw at the Lawson convenience stores where they sell tickets, you'd see like some promo for it. Oh. And when I told some guys at a bar, just like here in North America, the first thing they brought up was, oh, Tatsumi Fujinami. And they brought up all kinds of stuff from the 90s when they used to put 60K in the dome.
Well, the only thing that, honestly, I went to Ribera Steakhouse also. There was NJPW stuff there, but there were WWE programs, like little flyers for WWE.
But that's Ribera, and that's and also tell them how big Ribera is. Tell them how small, or how big it is.
It's probably about the size of my bedroom, which is not that big. There's like 5 tables.
You like the steak?
It was good. Did you go?
I went. It was pretty decent. I mean, I had better steak elsewhere, but it was pretty decent.
It's kind of fatty. Japanese meat's a little bit fatty.
Yeah.
Well, this has been a little bit of a
Around the
knowledge
world.
being dropping. Yeah, getting some knowledge about Japan. Yeah, so I'd love to visit one day. I'm envious of you guys that you got to go, but yeah, maybe one day. But I would not go for wrestling. Like if I was going to go to Japan, I'd want to just go for the overall culture and that sort of thing.
The nature is really, really nice.
Yeah, going in the mountains and stuff, seeing the architecture, like that would be what I would go for. And maybe like Nintendo's headquarters, if they got some tourist stuff for Nintendo, I'd love to see that.
The guys on there were people that had booked themselves like 5 days of various indie shows like FMW and AJPW and Stardom and this and that at Korakuen and Budokan. I was like, oh no. I did the Wrestle Kingdom show. I got to go see some mountains, eat some sushi. I got to go go to a temple. I got to see Japan. Yeah. Sorry, guys, I won't be there for the Stardom show.
to be honest with you guys, I see photos of Tokyo and it kind of drives me crazy. Like just the sheer amount of people. Like I'm not sure I could handle that. Like I've been in Los Angeles and Manhattan and that's a lot. That's a lot to really deal with. And if you're a foreigner and you're not familiar with the area, like I feel like it could be very overwhelming.
Well, they'll make fun of you too.
No, I'm sure. But anyways,
back to
Carl sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that, Carl. He says, great show, everyone. Never miss a show, but not normally. Don't watch live as from the UK. Keep up the great work. Awesome job. We appreciate it, Carl. Thank you for tuning in. I saw a few of your comments, how you're in the UK and you, I think you said San Francisco you traveled from, so you're still kind of on that time. So we appreciate you tuning in, Carl. Thank you for that. And I hope you stick around at least for a little bit longer. I know we're running late for you, but, glad to have you here. Thank you for tuning in.
Ready to move on?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right. So next topic, our filler topic I always like to do second. Karrion Kross, right? We know he was let go, came back, seemed like he got jobbed out, botching some moves in a match, which, that's nothing that I ever get upset about. They repackaged him again, kind of, sort of, with Scarlett and with the return of Authors of Pain and Paul Ellering. Too little, too late. I mean, the whole Killer Kross on the Indies was intriguing. When he came to NXT, they booked him pretty strong, so it was intriguing for a while. But then when you get to that main roster and you flounder, whether it's just bad gimmicks or you just don't impress at that level, it might be too little, too late to me. So, Big G, what do you think here with this new group? Authors of Pain obviously are returning. A couple of Triple H products.
Yeah, I feel
Paul
like
Ellering, I never connected with the Paul Ellering. I know he's considered as one of the best managers of all time because of the Road Warriors.
Warriors, yeah.
But I don't know, man. I'm just not feeling it. What about you?
I mean, I feel like we're in the era of factions in WWE with
gang wars.
Gang wars with under this Triple H regime, which I mean I'm fine with. Back in the day they had in the Attitude Era, we had a whole bunch of factions. Here we are now in 2024, and we have a good amount of factions. And I mean, Karrion Kross, I mean, what his first run when he was in NXT, he was really great. His entrance was awesome. Then he came up, had that gladiator gimmick going on, got released. He came back. He, attacked Roman, or not attacked Roman, but attacked Drew McIntyre. And he put the clock or the sand dial, whatever you want to call it, on the ring. And every little thing he's done with somebody, something's happened, with the bloodline crumbling, Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio, Finn Balor, Shinsuke. And now you have Authors of Pain back, who we haven't seen, I believe, in 4 years. They were, I was impressed with them in NXT. Then they came up to the main roster. They had the authors of the AOP. Aaron said, I can't believe you mentioned it because I totally forgot about it. The AOPP, with Drake Maverick, and oh my God. But everybody gets second chances in the WWE, and I think hopefully this is their redemption story.
Yep.
Hopefully with now that it's with Triple H and Nick Khan regime, maybe it'll be a lot better for them. They'll be dominant. Will they? Will we see like Karrion Kross in the main event scene? Not really. I can see him go for the U.S. title. Down the road, and if he switches over to Raw, maybe the World Heavyweight Championship, and maybe even the Undisputed Championship once Roman loses the title, whenever he loses the title. But at this moment, let's see what happens in the next couple weeks, and if Aaron doesn't like it, then we know it flops.
They don't have a name yet, do they? They're all together, but no faction.
There's no name. I mean, I couldn't even think of a name for them. I mean, like I know in his song "The End Is Here" or something like that, so they could do something with that or something like that. We'll see in the next couple of weeks. I mean, look at Lashley and the Street Profits; they're together and they don't have a faction name. So,
the Mean Street Profits.
So, all right, Rhonda, Shane, I'm going to ask these. I got to think how to word this here because I'm going to bring the Kingdom from AEW, right? Your favorite, the Devil's being revealed. Is the Kingdom AEW's version of Judgment Day? Or is this new faction with Karrion Kross potentially WWE's answer to the Kingdom? I don't know, man. It's just crazy, but please assess your opinion on this. And I know you wanted to talk about a little bit the Devil stuff. I know we did last week, but like the future of it. And go ahead. Like I don't know if you want to intertwine
this is definitely like these guys are definitely the WWE's version of Kingdom, and then it just isn't going to work once again. But listen, look, like I say, I always. Whenever anyone brings up Killer Kross, I always think about that time that I sat next to him at at Double or Nothing, the first AEW show, and we talked about whether it would be better to go to the young fledgling company that is just starting up, or whether it would be better to go where, the sure thing, the WWE. And I think, listen, it was a nice chat. I don't think I had any influence on him. He certainly made his choice after that, but I always kind of feel bad for him because he got lost so terribly in the shuffle. Then, he got put in that weird gay gladiator costume, whatever it is, because he was wearing his bondage gear. And then
I think Rhonda meant happy. When you said gay, I'm just speaking to the NoDQ Galaxy here.
Yes.
You meant happy.
Oh, extraordinarily happy, although he didn't look happy wearing it. And he did not have his wife with him at certain points, which also he did not look happy with that situation. I'm all in favor of Karrion Kross, Killer Kross, whatever you want to call him, getting a big chance because he is a huge talent. The Cauliflower Alley Club actually gave him an award about 2 years ago, which shows you how much the older generation esteem him and his work ethic and his approach to the business. He's a very sharp guy, very smart guy. I think he needs to shave that head. I think his wife needs to dye her hair red. I mean, her name's Scarlett. Just do it and wear more red. And honestly, as long as they don't bring Rocco the puppet back with Paul Ellering, I think this should be okay. I don't see it going a lot of places, but I would have been wrong about Judgment Day when I saw them too, right?
All right. Well, yeah, and that's the thing. There are a lot of factions. And look, WWE, right, they have no reason to do something because another company did it. Hey, we can do it better, but they can also put a bunch of mid-carders together and do it as a rib. That's in the blood of WWE. They have ribbed people for years. Akeem, the African Dream. That's all I'm going to say. But TJS, what do you have to say? Someone mentioned House of Black. This is WWE's version of House of Black. So, yeah, I forgot about them. Or what's the other one? In AEW, the
Dark Order?
Yeah.
Oh, triangle.
Yeah. See what I mean? There's so many you can throw there. What do you have to say about this?
Well, so I saw Karrion Kross. I don't know how well you can see, but this was at a house show in November, and the sad thing is this guy has pretty much everything going for him. Entrance, hot wife, jacked, cool theme music. You know,
Hey, dude, you were showing us porn.
Oh, no, that was his entrance. But I mean, he has all the tools to succeed. His mic skills are questionable, and that's the same with AOP. So I think Paul Ellering has his work cut out for him because Razor and Ickham are kind of charisma vacuums. So they're going to have to be like the Salamanca twins from Breaking Bad. I think. I think that's the best way to use them. You know,
Yes.
Don't talk, just silent assassin type characters.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so I mean, there's potential, but where's the glass ceiling with Kross? We only have one set of tag titles right now. They need to split those up, and then maybe I would care more about this faction. But I guess we're just gonna have to see. But like I said, I think Karrion has all the tools. But at that house show, he made that grand entrance and then lost to Ridge Holland. So. Not looking good, but I'm hoping that this injects new life into him, and
we'll see. I mean, it's Triple H's era, right? Everybody's excited about what he's going to do on every different angle, every different group. Aaron, anything you would like to add to this before we move on to the main event?
Sure, I got a few things. First of all, Rage of Wrestling Walter Cruz said with $2, thank you, Walter, says, "This is Kross's last chance for me. I hope it works." And it very well could be Kross's last chance. Mr. Tito sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you, Tito. Says, if Kross can't get over with his hot wife, it's hopeless. Kind of like Mark Marrow. I mean, I've definitely seen the comparisons between Mark Marrow and Karrion Kross. But I think Kross is pretty talented. I like the guy. Same issue with Authors of Pain. Their first runs were not executed in the most effective manner. We saw what happened with Kross with the helmet, AOPP, as I like to mention, with Drake Maverick, that whole deal.
I totally forgot about that until you brought it up.
I know.
I can't believe that's real.
It's crazy. But anyways, I liked the angle on SmackDown. I think it does have potential, but you have to look at it 6 months from now. What's going to happen? Like, are they just going to feud with Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits? Then what? Then what do you do with these guys? Are they going to be elevated to the next level, or are they just bodies at this point? Like, it's hard to say where they're going to be in 6 months and if there's a game plan for these guys. But TJS, you made a great point. Like, it would help if they actually had titles to fight over for. I still don't understand why we haven't seen those titles split again. Like, or at least have the champions defend on TV more often, which they don't. It seems like it would be helpful to have the champions around so these guys have something to fight for. But so far, I think the angle has potential. I like Paul Ellering being back. I'm a big fan of his. And I like Scarlett's new look. I like the change with the brunette look. I'm fine with that. But yeah, you could do the red. But I like the black. I liked the look of the group. I do think it has potential, but I don't know if anything's going to work. Like you said, Mr. Tito, if Scarlett can't get crossover, like what can at this point? Who knows?
Yeah.
A haircut.
Yeah, that for starters, although people associate the bald head with the helmet, that's the problem.
Yeah. I mean, I think he looks, I don't like sound weird, but I think he looks more badass with like the ponytail like in the back and more legit.
Yeah. I
Like
mean,
you said, if he goes back to the bald head, people are gonna go like, "Oh well, here we go again."
yeah. I mean, something that I really forgot about is like these guys. TV does not do them justice. Like when you go see them in person, some of them are huge, man. Like Kross, he has like 5% body fat. It's kind of crazy. Like
almost Lex Luger level.
Yeah, I mean, he could definitely like whoop somebody's ass and like. Yeah.
Can't say that about a lot of the AEW guys, unfortunately.
Adam Cole.
He's got the look down. I mean, you know.
I was intimidated sitting next to the guy, especially because I was sitting next to his wife, and he kept looking at me like,
you better watch yourself, pal. But you know what? He does a mean Jesse Ventura impression.
Yeah. I've seen that. Yes, that's amazing.
I always want to be like, if I'm skeptical of a group, of a wrestler, I always still let them have that chance to win me over. So,
right.
here's a case that maybe 6 months from now, I'll be like, man, these guys are cooking. Kind of like Ron Shane does here on the No DQ review. So
maybe they'll get Rocco back, and maybe Rocco and him will just take off, and it'll be, and I'll be wrong like I was wrong about the Judgment Day.
Yeah, maybe. Anything's possible.
All caught up, Aaron? Ready for the main event?
Let's do it.
This is where it could get interesting. So a fatal four-way is now the main event for the Royal Rumble match. So Roman Reigns will be back in action, defending his title. We all figured it was going to be Orton one-on-one. They decided to throw AJ Styles and LA Knight in this. And we know LA Knight, I think his match when it was in Saudi Arabia, he kind of got the short end of the stick there. Roman being in the main event, defending his title, that part I love. And I guess, Mr. Tito wrote a column and Aaron disagreed with it. A lot of people were kind of pushing back saying this is great because it's more unpredictable. And I'll start with you first here, TJS. Here's my problem with a fatal four-way. Like, you're supposed to think that the champion can lose a title without losing. And with The Rock coming back, and maybe this is where Roman loses the title so they can book Rock and Roman for WrestleMania. And look, they're not going to have this record historic title reign end without Roman getting pinned himself. And I would have rather just had the Orton match, and then in Australia, maybe give AJ the chance again, or have LA Knight get another chance. I just putting it all in there together at the Royal Rumble when you have two. You got the women's Royal Rumble match with 30 participants. You got the men's, and I know if this match goes on last, now you take people out of the Royal Rumble match. If it goes on before the men's Royal Rumble, maybe they could come back out. I don't want to think about any of that, and this just isn't clicking with me. Again, I'm happy to know Roman's got another main event. He's going to have notches on his belt again, on his old list of people that he defeated. But beating people, even if you cheat, because you're in a heel faction and you got a group of henchmen, it holds more water checking them off one by one. The WrestleMania thing where he beat Daniel Bryan and Edge, yeah, okay, it's triple threat. I'll give that benefit of the doubt. I don't know. Maybe the match will win me over. Please convince me otherwise. But I'm feeling Tito here. This is not clicking with me.
Wow. Okay. Well, I was going to bring up the point that you made about we're losing LA Knight, AJ Styles, and Orton. None of them are going to be in the Rumble if this goes on last. And even if they do come out after this match, I don't think, I think they're kind of taking spots away from people at that point. I actually am looking forward to the Fatal 4-Way. I know it is going to be a good match, like you mentioned. And for me, personally, I think it's a little refreshing because we've seen the Reigns single matches being booked the same way for so long. With the bloodline interference. They're always intriguing, but the endings have been kind of formulaic, I think. But who knows? Maybe this match will end the same as those. The interference and so
they
forth.
Get away with it now.
Yeah.
They don't have to worry. They always get away with it. They don't have to worry about it being behind the ref's back.
No ref bump in this match, maybe. But yeah, I agree. I can't believe people are buying into the possibility of Reigns losing the title in this match. Like you said, there's no way that this reign is going to end by AJ Styles pinning LA Knight, and that's the end of the 1,000+ day reign.
The only way, and again, this is where Aaron could say, this is why it's good to have this match. Do we really think The Rock is going to show up and rock bottom Roman Reigns and let one of those guys pin him? No. That's the only way. I mean, it's just, to me, let's put a bunch of people in a match just to make people think Roman could lose his title without losing.
Yeah, I mean, it is going to be a big match, but
I'm still going to watch it. But.
Yeah, I think that the more marquee match would have been the singles match with Orton, but I think they're going to save that for Australia and do that. So, but overall, we'll see how this build goes, but I don't know. People are complaining online about the possibility of Reigns losing, and they're saying, oh, that's bad creative. I think it's good creative if they're selling you on that, and if you're buying into the possibility of him losing it, which he's not. So
yeah, Tito's all worked up, so clearly it worked. I mean, Triple H threw the line in, and Mr. Tito took it.
Can we get a McMahon in every corner for this match?
Well, yeah, remember WrestleMania 2000? Okay, Big G, like, it's just the thing is, you have the prestigious title. Like, I know Roman has had a lot of the bloodline type of wins to keep that title, but the fact is they've kept it on. They've created this mafia mob mentality of he's going to find a way to keep that title and knocking people off one by one at a time in singles matches, with the exception of the triple threat that we had. I just like that. To me, at this point, that title is so far up here. That's how it should be defended. And I was a little taken aback. Aaron, you know how we always kind of have an idea from the dirt sheets of what the main events might be, and we kind of speculated Orton and Roman. Did we have any, inclination that it could have been this fatal four-way? So,
I mean, fan speculation. I definitely saw people bringing up the idea maybe
once
Roman
AJ
Reigns
came
interferes.
back.
Roman Reigns shows up and sabotages the match. I did see some people speculating.
No,
on
but
that.
I meant like weeks ago, not this Friday night, but like
weeks ago when the match was first announced. They were talking about the idea that it might end with some kind of shenanigans, because we've seen it happen before where there's a number one contenders match and the champion tries to screw everything up, and then they end up booking a multi-way match as punishment. Like, it's been done quite often. And there were rumors about LA Knight possibly getting another title match. So yeah, I'm not really surprised they went in the fatal four-way direction at all. And it was kind of speculated on for a few weeks.
Big G, why did they just make Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman look stupid? Okay, they're supposed to be this new creative era of WWE, and yet they had Roman go on a rampage, beat up three guys that were having a match where the winner would face him.
He should know history.
They were caught with egg on their face with a general manager in place. Oh, well, you're going to face all the guys now in a match where if you don't even get pinned, you can lose your title. That just made Roman and Paul Heyman, who should be next level intelligent, look stupid. And that's why, again, I'm going to watch it, and maybe it'll win me over and I'll say, okay. But like, I just, when Nick Aldis said that, I was like, and the way they said it, like off, like to the camera, like just off the side there, I was like, I mean, really? Go ahead.
I don't want to say it made him look. I mean, Roman was taking care of business in the ring. He was doing his thing. He was being the mob boss. Paul Heyman's doing his thing, being outside. And yet Nick Aldis being out there, he's the general manager. He wanted to make sure that we had a legit number one contender. But, you have Roman Reigns come out there and attack everybody because he didn't feel like any of them were worthy of him challenging for his title. So he wanted to screw it up. And Nick Aldis, being the general manager, having the balls to stick up to the bloodline, because nobody has stuck up to the bloodline in over like 3 years now and done anything. And, storyline wise, Nick Aldis was like, well, you know what? Tell Roman. And it was kind of stupid that like they told Roman, like he told Roman like after the show was over,
Yeah.
But like Aldis was like, you know what? Screw it. You're gonna face all three. You're gonna have that 25% chance of losing your title, having your historic reign end at the Royal Rumble. I mean, I don't think it's gonna end at the Royal Rumble, but I'm intrigued to see if it does, because Roman doesn't have to get pinned. And
I get it, but everybody loves Samantha Irvin, and her announcing one challenger and then Roman, that's epic. Now you're gonna announce 3 challengers with Roman, and it's like an in your house main event. I don't know.
All 3 of them have legit complaints of, all 3 of them have legit.
The Rumble sells the show.
Yeah,
but you're putting Roman on, who barely defends the title, but let's get them all in. Let's throw them all in one match, since he only wrestles so often. That's why I feel like it is.
And
like,
they're
throwing them all in there because Roman's a special attraction. And
when he wins, it's going to make him look even more great.
That's what I was going to say.
3 other guys.
He's going to when he wins, no matter who he faces. We knew he was going to win anyway.
Okay, so all 3 legit have complaints against Roman at the bloodline. They took out Randy Orton for a year and a half or whatever it was. They took out AJ Styles storyline. They screwed over LA Knight at Crown Jewel. The possibility, LA Knight could have beaten Roman Reigns, but you had the no yeet Jimmy there. But if they hypothetically, if like Roman does lose the title at the Royal Rumble, you could, there's things out there I've seen. I even was thinking about it. You could have Orton and Cody at WrestleMania for the title, because Roman and Rock don't need a title match at WrestleMania if they end up going that route. But we'll see what happens. I mean, the Rumble's in about 3 weeks away. They have a lot of time to make the decision, and maybe I know Roman's like 200 days away or whatever from beating Hogan's record, and they could do that. But then Roman probably wants to take time off.
How many Fatal 4-Ways was Hulk Hogan in?
None.
They didn't even have Fatal 4-Ways.
They didn't even have. I was gonna say, but I mean,
go ahead, finish up, Big G. I got
it. They have to. They want their three biggest stars on SmackDown, or 4 biggest stars on SmackDown, to have a big marquee match at the Royal Rumble, because the Royal Rumble is still considered one of the big 4 pay-per-views. So, and that, I think with CM Punk being there now, kind of threw a wrench into everything too with the Rumble match. So we'll see what happens. I'm intrigued to see if Roman potentially does lose the title, but I don't see it happening.
Well, thank you, Big G. All right, Rhonda, Shane, when I wrote in the private chat these topics, I put Fatal 4-Way set for Royal Rumble: Reigns, Orton, Styles, and Knight. But why? And you said, but why? Go ahead and tell me, but why?
I'll tell you but why. When everybody, what bugs me the most about talking to people on the internet about their opinions about wrestling is that 99% of the time when you're talking to, or about their opinion of booking, is that 99% of the time you're talking to somebody that is a mark for a character or a personality, or they're a mark for an idea that they had, a prediction that they had a few months ago that something would happen. And, like we talked about last week when I said that, if you believe that The Rock and Roman Reigns is going to happen in Australia at 3 a.m, you're sadly mistaken. And one of the big things that you've got to consider when you're looking at booking is, what is this leading into in the next show? Elimination Chamber. What is the Elimination Chamber? In a 6-way match where everyone's got to have some kind of an issue, and they're trying to, usually it's sort of like the Rumble for everyone that lost the Rumble and didn't win the title and is in the chase and is still trying to get themselves now night 1 at WrestleMania, right? It's kind of like who's trying to get the first main event, which is actually the second tier main event. And so I think that this is going to serve to create some issues between AJ, LA, and Randy, in order to give them some fuel to go into the Elimination Chamber and be part of that as well. I'm not sure everyone that'll be in it, but I mean, you could easily fill that with Cody, CM Punk, LA Knight, Randy Orton. You could throw AJ Styles in there. There are a million others that could fill in that 6th spot as well. The roster is that deep at this point. I guess the question is, what's going to happen? Probably we're going to see Roman pile them all on top of each other after they all implode on each other and all start cheating on each other, in order to create some kind of chaotic situation that Roman can take advantage of and kind of stand over them all, look at them like they're all idiots for the way they've acted, put his foot on top of the one or multiple of them, and stand tall and go into the next match. And that next match, different, is no. Don't even, no. Yes, The Rock will show up in Perth, different. However, he will not be wrestling Roman Reigns in Perth. That is the most ridiculous thing on earth. We already covered it last week. I already cooked that. This is overcooked now, different. And no, that is not going to happen in a million years. You'll never
Somebody
see
get an audio clip of this for future posterity.
You will never see The Rock and Roman Reigns wrestling at 3 a.m. No, that's when the event starts. At
4 a.m. 4 a.m. Eastern time, which means it would be like 7 to 8 when
it'll be like Wrestle Kingdom.
Yes. Yeah. And you know what? We don't. No. I've already watched wrestling in my pajamas once as a 30-something-year-old man. I'm not doing it again. Nobody is doing that match in the middle of the night. But look, all that to say, I think that the real point, but why, is to try to build some juice towards Elimination Chamber, but also, to throw that. Listen, if you don't have a good storyline, just throw something out there that's got lots of open, multiple endings, and the internet wrestling community will create a storyline for you. And so, just let the marks come up with their own reasons why Roman Reigns is going to lose this when LA Knight finally pins AJ Styles to win the Universal Championship and end his historic reign right before he gets anywhere near Hulk Hogan's record.
Thank you. All right, Aaron, you know how we, with Reigns' run and how pretty much, I don't even remember what his last clean win was. Maybe Riddle on SmackDown, where the title was actually on the line. And I'm a big Roman mark, but I also started liking Roman because I'm like, there's a reason why Vince McMahon wants this guy as a top. There's something in him that can be a draw, this or that, an attraction. And would this not be sweeter if we would have got a one-on-one match with Roman and Randy, and of all people, the 14-time champion, whatever Randy is, we would have finally got a clean win for Roman without the help of the bloodline, surviving an RKO and still finding a way to beat Orton clean with no help. And that's all gone now, at least for now, because of this fatal four-way. That's another reason why I was anticipating that, because I thought that was a perfect opportunity for all those people that, Roman doesn't win clean and it's really diluted. He barely wrestles as it is. Boom, won a marquee matchup. Samantha Irvin announces Orton as the challenger, everybody's favorite new announcer, and Roman Reigns is the champion. And then it happens, and then boom, clean win for Roman. And then maybe at the end of Rumble, have The Rock come out and stare him down, not for Australia, but, keep that seed going. Yeah. And with the Fatal 4-Way, it's just going to get all kinds of weird because it's Fatal 4-Way, and that just doesn't work for me. But like I said, I'll still watch it. I'll deal with it. Go ahead, Aaron.
All right.
Now share your piece.
Real quick, TJS, you had something you wanted to add?
Yeah, very quickly. I know that we mentioned how Reigns and Heyman look dumb. The way that they can turn this around, I think, is if they say, if Roman changes his tune, he's like, okay, bring them on. I'll whoop all their asses. And then at the end of the show, like you guys mentioned, hypothetically, let's say Punk wins the Rumble and he chooses Rollins as his WrestleMania opponent that night. After Reigns beats all three of these guys, then you could have him get on the mic and say, oh, there's nobody left, blah, blah, blah. And then The Rock comes out, stares him down, points at the WrestleMania sign. I think that would be a good way to do it. Also, I think that the reason they booked this Fatal 4-Way is I think they're running out of time and they're trying to wrap up these stories before WrestleMania because you still have LA Knight wanting his match, AJ wanting his match, Randy wanting his match.
Yep.
We do not have 3 PLEs before WrestleMania. So I think they're just trying to put a bow on this before they get to the real money match, which is Rock.
At TJS, people in the chat room are saying that Roman Reigns is not even advertised for this Elimination Chamber show. So, I mean, I'm not sure what the deal with that is, if he's going to be there or not. He might not even be there knowing his schedule. And Rhonda seems to think that it's not going to happen. Although, Rhonda, we do have to point out that it's actually Perth, which is Western Australia, and 8 p.m. in Perth is actually 7 a.m. Eastern time. So it's not as early. It's like 4 for the West Coast.
7 a.m. That's absolutely
which means
That's
10
why
o'clock.
you watch
Cheerios.
Mike Tyson's fights when Don King was promoting them. Yeah, absolutely. 7 a.m. prime time, right?
10 a.m. you would get the Rock's match. 10 to 11
I'll go and
a.m. on a
grab my
Saturday.
McGriddle, and then I'll come back home and I will watch at 7 a.m.
Well,
I'm
kids,
gonna watch a WWE PLE. I
Yeah.
don't think so.
Hey, what
I mean,
are you
you
gonna
watch
eat
your
during-
Saturday morning cat cartoons back in the
What
day.
are you going to eat during that pay-per-view? Cheerios?
Yes, exactly.
Muffin?
Instead of Heathcliff and Garfield, you get to watch Roman Reigns and The Rock in Saudi Arabia. Jeremy sent in a $5 super chat, says, I feel like WWE is missing engaging storylines every week. Why not do a storyline like a wrestler dealing with mental health issues or racists, etc.? Well, Jeremy, thank you for the super chat. They got to be careful with that stuff. You know, when you start to cross into real life issues and politics and those sort of things, like that can alienate some people. I think that's why they try to stay away from going too deep with personal storylines like mental health struggles or things in politics, you know, that sort of thing, or social justice and stuff like that. People want to escape from some of that stuff. Like they don't want a lot of the real life problems being put out there on TV. You know, they want to forget about that. They just want to see two guys go out there and beat each other up and argue who the best is. That's what they want to see. They want to forget about the real life stuff. But yeah, sometimes it does work, but you also need a good writer too. Like if it's not written well, then it can go south really quickly. Maybe Vince Russo would write something about it, but yeah, it's got to be the right writer, and they got to know what they're doing and not alienate their audience. But anyways, Virtue, I'll say this. First of all, I do agree with you about how that announcement made Roman look stupid, because as I mentioned earlier, all throughout history in WWE, we've seen this scenario where the champion tries to attack all the triple threat contenders or whatever contenders there are, and then there's a multi-way match made as punishment. So yeah, Paul Heyman wasn't a very wise man. He didn't think that out very carefully or remember WWE history. So that I agree with you on 100%. And the way it was announced, not to the fans in the arena, that was a little awkward because you missed out on the big pop from the crowd. So I agree with you on that. Here's why I like the match. Roman Reigns versus Randy Orton. We all knew how that was going to play out. Bloodline interferes, Roman retains. And regardless of the match, Roman's retaining. We talked about this. He's not going to lose the title in a match where he doesn't take the fall. Like that would be terrible booking to have Roman Reigns lose because LA Knight pinned AJ Styles. Like
Unless The Rock was there to cost him.
Correct. That would be very lackluster. The reason I like the match is because it's given us stuff to talk about. If it was Roman Reigns versus Randy Orton, we'd just be like, okay, Bloodline interferes, move on to the next match. But now we're talking about, is The Rock going to show up? Is there somehow going to be a title change? And what are they going to do for Elimination Chamber? And as mentioned earlier, you can have a resolution to all these other storylines with LA Knight and Randy Orton and AJ Styles. Yeah, I almost forgot about him.
You almost forgot about one of the guys in this match you're claiming. Yeah.
To be fair, it's the guy that I think is going to take the fall in this match.
Yeah.
And the reason I like this match too is because this is a way to make Roman look even stronger. Have him beat these three guys clean. No outside interference. He just beats him straight up clean, stacks him. He looks even bigger. And when the time comes that Cody beats Roman Reigns, it's going to make Cody's win look even more epic when he beats the guy that beat three of the top guys in WWE clean in the middle. This is the time to do the clean finish. Roman Reigns pins AJ Styles, and Randy Orton and LA Knight have to go to the back of the line for a while, but they also are protected. They don't take a pin from Roman Reigns, and that's why AJ Styles is in this match. Roman gets his big win, makes him even more dominant as champion. He's running out of guys. All you got left is The Rock and Cody. Where they go with that remains to be seen, but obviously something we can talk about here in the next several weeks. And I'm excited for it because I don't know where they're going with all this, but I trust that Triple H knows what he's doing. I trust the process, and I think it'll be satisfying in the end.
Okay. That's a wrap. Any super chats?
I think we're all caught up.
All right. Well, stay tuned. Where is Royal Rumble at?
St. Petersburg, Florida.
Okay. And is it a arena? Oh no, it's in the Tampa.
The stadium
down there.
Stadium where the Tampa Rays play.
Okay.
It's a weird configuration too.
Yeah, lovely stadium there.
Chart. It's I wouldn't want to be sitting on some of those floor seats. There's going to be some that are pretty far back.
Yeah.
Well, we are Royal Rumble season, so as the weeks go on this month, we'll be talking about, there's a good CM Punk cliffhanger for maybe next week's show. That's going to be a tricky situation. Like if they do decide to have him win the Rumble, and ... I don't want to finish my thought there because we will come back to that at some point. Let's go around and do our plugs and see if we can get out of here. Rhonda, sometimes they like to do this after dark thing where they super chat, ask Big G questions he clearly does not want to answer. Let's see if we can get through this.
Questions.
TJS, you can start the plugs.
Hey, so you can follow me on X at TYLRJSPHSMTH and Instagram at Tyler Joseph Smith. Thanks for having me on, guys. Always good to be here. WWE is as hot as it's ever been, I think, and makes it more fun to talk about. I think we're all pretty motivated to discuss. The NoDQ review is the slots fill up quick nowadays because everybody's eager to talk about this product. So again, thanks for having me on. Fun times. Good to see everyone. And, ready for that Rumble. Let's go.
Thank you. You've matured as these years have gone by, TJS.
Thank you.
You've gotten bounced. You've come back. So just like in WWE, right? Just like Karrion Kross.
Right.
All right. Go ahead, Big G.
Yeah. And throw it up. Okay. All right. So up top are my social media handles. TikTok at BigBallaG1988. The Twix at NoDQ_BigBallaG. And on Insta at NoDQ_BigBallaG1990 or 1988. Oh my God. And then the first tour of 2024 for Parker Kane Promotions, we will be at MCW Fan Jam. We're bringing in these lovely ladies. Probably going to bring in a couple more. Brooklyn Barlow, she was in NXT for a little bit. The other two are in the independent scene. There's other going to be big names there as well. Obviously, not we're bringing in, but like Nick Namath, Riddle is going to be there. Alberto is going to be there. Rick Steiner is going to be there. A whole bunch of names. It's going to be awesome.
Wait, who? Rick Steiner?
Is Ryback going to be there?
Wait, did you say Rick Steiner and Alberto Del Rio?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tessa Blanchard going to be there?
Who?
Tessa Blanchard.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
This is it, man. This could make this promotion's name to turn some opinions around on some of these people. Wow. Okay.
Who's canceled, right?
All right. Go ahead. Thank you.
The umbrella guy, is he going to be there too? I forgot his name. The guy.
Marty Skrull. I mean,
yeah.
He's been at a couple events that I was at. Like,
they bringing in Flair and Hogan.
Joey Ryan,
Velveteen Dream.
Bring in Joey.
Well, you know what? Velveteen Dream did start in MCW.
Joey can't even keep a job at Disney. But, all right, Rhonda, go ahead.
All right, my plugs really quick. Plug my Facebook group. Facebook.com/group/Rhonda Shane, spelled just like it is right up here. You can also like my page on Facebook because I'm a bad little boy and I managed to get myself a little bit of a slap on the wrist from Facebook this week. So, but I have tons of members and I have lots of, there's going to still be lots of content updates from me. There's a new project that I'm going to be launching this week and I'm really excited to talk about it. And I'll send Aaron graphics for the next time I'm on. I'm going to be starting a website called merchforjerks.com. And it's going to be all parody t-shirts, We're going to be starting off with an NWO style NDA shirt. Because when you're NDA for life. And we're also going to have Thanks Guys, Good Shit Pal, and a bunch of other fun shirts for wrestling fans that like to take the piss out of it. So yeah, take a look for merch for jerks, coffee cups, shirts, and goodness knows what else. Maybe I'll even sell one of those phony con wigs I wore at Forbidden Door there, Aaron.
All right.
Well, thank you for being on.
Hey, Rhonda, we got to get you dressed up as Tony Khan for one of these No DQ reviews.
I will find. I know where the wig is. I have the suit. I'll get the little skinny tie, or even better, maybe I'll get that weird little brown pea coat and wear that.
Nice. That would be great. That would be really great if you could do that.
It would be great, wouldn't it?
It would.
Rhonda, before I pass it over to Aaron, not only how can somebody kind of be responsible for the wrestling company floundering after a fantastic multi-sellout at Wembley, and then their football team was 9-3, not the Fulham, but the Jacksonville Jaguars, and fumbled them out of the playoffs too. Wow. Who's responsible? I mean, isn't Tony Khan part of the talent committee for the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Sabermetrics team? Wow.
Oh, yeah. He's the VP of football analytics. Yeah, I don't know. That's
all going to be worth it one day, right?
You know what? We should we should really have an in-depth dissection of Tony Khan and you know what? I would love to just have a long chat with you guys about Tony Khan and e-wrestling sometime, fantasy wrestling. I actually got him to answer some questions through another friend of mine that was interviewing him about e-wrestling, and he opened up, and Jim Cornette's been laughing about it ever since and still talks about it. And I've been watching some stuff that he said. This man is still talking in the last press conference, still talking about when he was booking Dynamite when he was 12 years old. What he was doing in class, he was writing down matches that he would like to go home and simulate. And I'm going to tell you something. Here's something fun to end the show on. Obviously, Dynamite is named because of Nitro, his favorite show, right? That's where Dynamite comes from. Then Collision actually came from the Collision Business Conference that I met him at last year, because he loved the Collision Business Conference so much. He told us at the conference, the second year in a row that he spoke at it, that he named it for that. I'm going to tell you where he got the name Rampage from. Guess what his favorite wrestling simulator computer program was as a child? Rampage. Yeah. So, I mean, anyways, we'll have a chat about that some other time. But there's an outro for you.
Well, thank you. Yeah. All right, Aaron, go ahead and do your thing, and we'll go home.
All right. Well, we do have some After Dark questions, so we'll get to those. This is the After Dark portion of the No DQ review. Things can sometimes go off the rails, but that's what people like to see. So there you go. Maddie says, how would you make more engaging storylines? I mean, that's a tough question to answer because there's no one thing, in my opinion. I mean, you want to have people have a reason to tune in the week after and the week after that. So you really have to think, okay, what can we do here for 6 months? And what they did with Sami Zayn was great. Or simple answer, just have more cats on TV. Throw in cat cam, get Natalia's cat as a regular character on WWE storylines, have her be a booker or a matchmaker, stuff like that. But the more difficult answer is you need to have long-term storylines and you got to have cliffhangers and you got to have twists and turns, but have it make sense. And easier said than done. Big G, where's your cat?
I was trying to grab Joke, but he ran away.
Ronnie, your cat looks like
it was sleeping. It was sleeping on my lap, and it's just getting too hot. It's getting too hot on my lap now.
Is that a lynx?
Oh no, she is so tiny. She's about 7 pounds.
Oh,
this is baby normal.
Big G, what should they do to make more engaging storylines? Any ideas? It's a tough question to answer. It's easy for us to say,
it's a different era. So I mean, not everything's going to be intriguing. Everybody's going to have their own opinion on everything, and certain storylines will intrigue some people, others won't. So it's just a matter of what you like in this day of wrestling. Like Virtue, for example, he likes the storylines and stuff like that, and Noah Foster loves his pro wrestling, and everybody has something different that they like nowadays.
Yeah. I just know as a viewer, I want to tune in and not know what to expect. I want to be taken for a ride. I want the ups and downs of a roller coaster. I want the spectacle, and I want to be caring about the characters and what they're doing. Like if I don't care, then I'm just checked out and I'll change the channel.
Yeah.
TJS.
I have a quick and easy one. I think social media is a big problem when it comes to engaging stories because the shows don't feel must-see. WWE is posting videos, results, everything like within a second of all this stuff happening. So why would anyone watch a 3-hour show on a Monday Night Live if they can just pull up X or Facebook, So, yeah, I think it's a double-edged sword, social media.
And WWE's not going to change what they're doing. They're making record profits right now. Business is on fire. So if you're not a fan of WWE right now, I mean, there's probably nothing they can do to win you over. Like they're doing very well business wise, and it's going to be more of what they've been doing. Now AEW, on the other hand, what could they do? I mean, that's a 30-minute topic right there.
Well, I'll just say I think the secret to engaging storylines is to make sure that you follow what the people on cagematch.net say.
Exactly. That's the key right there. You got to go on a website that like 100 people vote on and go by that.
More tournaments.
But if it was NoDQ.com,
then it would be completely accurate, and that would be the way to go to turn your business around.
Absolutely. Just follow what they say on NoDQ.com, and honestly, you can't go wrong with that.
Exactly. Well, here's the thing. Don't put Daniel Garcia in the main event of Dynamite. There's an idea for starters.
I you know what? I actually last week I made it through till like 9:45, and then I saw Daniel Garcia was in the main event. I said I can't do whatever Tony's doing tonight. Sorry, I can't do the rest.
I mean, it's the same guy that puts Trevor Lawrence in the main event of his football team. So,
you're just done.
And I almost thought he got it right last year until this year happened.
Oh boy!
All right, guys, we got a few more real quick here. Carl sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you. Carl says Cody needs to finish his AEW story too, then, because he never finished his AEW story. He just left, and that was that. Hey, maybe one day he will. Never say never, right? Stranger things have happened.
It's how every AEW story finishes.
I mean, I guess he could try to reverse that world title stipulation. Maybe if he comes back to AEW, that the slate has been wiped clean. So who knows? Maybe one day he will. The Rock's Jockstrap sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you guys, by the way. Says the jabroni in the lower right needs a rock bottom. No comment on that one. Just point.
Would it be our lower right, which would be me, or would it be their lower right, which would be him?
Fair enough.
Him. Maybe
he was talking about Ronda.
Charge him another $2 to answer that, though.
Well, he might send in another $2 with his answer. Let's see. This Guy Experience sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. You guys could just answer yes or no on this one if you want, or you can elaborate. Bobby Lashley going after the World Championship gold this year. I'm going to say no. I think he's going to be in this mid-card storyline with Karrion Kross for 6 months.
Yep.
Yeah.
So no world title for him. At least he had his run.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think he had his run. He's what, like 46 now.
Yeah.
I think by the time he potentially gets back in the title mix, Roman will no longer be champion. Maybe. I mean, you never know. Some people think that Roman might actually beat Hogan's title reign at this point. So we'll see. And last one here from Attitude Era Mark. Thank you. Says, Aaron, is The Rock in your top 5? Top 5 what? Top 5 promos, top 5 workers. I would say he's top 5 biggest stars of all time. Maybe number 1, arguably.
Top
promos,
5 actors.
Promos, I put him number 1.
Yeah, all of those. If it's wrestler, you can't you have to knock him down a little bit. But
Yeah.
again,
he's certainly, if you average it all out, I would say he's top 5 for sure. He's The Rock. So anybody else got a comment on The Rock? Are we ready to wrap it up?
Just wrap it up.
All right, let's do it. All right. Thank you all so much. Much love and appreciation. 25 years of NoDQ.com. Stay tuned for more. It's going to be a fun year, I'm thinking. I'm looking forward to next week's review. And there's the cat. Maybe we'll get the cat back. Maybe we'll get Ron, a.k.a. Tony Khan, on the show next week. We'll have to see if that's doable. And Virtue,
basement.
That's all I got for this week. Thank you so much for moderating, and looking forward to next time.
okay. Well, thank you, everybody. Be sure to follow me on x.com if you dare at NoDQ_Virtue. There's CM Punk. And go to NoDQ.com/merch. And yes, the whole Virtue collection of t-shirts is there. And I think Big G has most of them. If he doesn't, he better go finish that collection. For the whole NoDQ Galaxy cast and crew, Aaron Rift, Big G, TJS, and Rhonda Shane, I am Virtue, the moderator. Good night, everybody. We will see you again next time.